World Conference and Expo speaker prep for our 2022 speakers. I am Courtney Nazarino, the Excipient World Event Director. I'm going to provide an overview of some of the resources that we've compiled for our speakers. I encourage all of our speakers who are participating live to feel free to pop questions into the Q&A. Again, what I'm providing is what I think is helpful, but if there's something that I'm missing that would be helpful for you, please don't be shy about asking. So first thing that I want to point out is our dates and deadlines. Majority of folks have already registered for Excipient World through the Speaker Service Center. I forced everyone to go to the Speaker Service Center to register because this has so many of the resources that we're going to cover today. The Speaker Service Center really is the vault of our resources. So just by going there, logging in and registering, you are kind of in a great position to be able to access everything else I'm going to cover. If you have not registered and booked your room yet, please, please, please do it ASAP, because by registering, you're showing me that you can access all of these resources in the Speaker Service Center. Also, it kind of confirms your intent to present. A lot of you had rolled over from the 2021 event, and this is just, like a backup for me, making sure that you're still with us and you're still planning on being there. So thank you to the folks who have registered. If you haven't, please register as soon as possible. The next deadline that's coming up I'd like to point out that's very important is that on March 25th, we're asking that all presenters submit preliminary presentation slides and handouts. If you were listening to the presentation earlier, I mentioned that we really pride ourselves on making sure that the education content is that it's purely educational and it's non-commercial in nature. So our conference committee does expect to receive preliminary slides and be able to review them and provide feedback, just to maintain that that sense of educational continuity. The next deadline that I want to point out is April 15th. On April 15th, we're asking that everybody submit their final version of their presentation slides and handouts. This is the version that we are going to be using on site at the event. So any tweaking, editing, whatnot, please try to have it complete by the 15th and submit it to us so that our AV partners can have everything queued up and ready for you for a seamless experience on site. Of course, we understand that sometimes things come up and we'll work with you on that, but hopefully the majority of people can stick with this deadline of the 15th. And then, of course, May 2 through 4 is showtime. So that's when we're going to be together at Excipient World down in Florida. Okay, so a quick review for presentation formats. It's important for you to know what you're presenting, what format you are presenting. So we have a couple of different ones. One of them is educational sessions. Majority of speakers are presenting an education session. These are 45 minutes long. We ask that you plan to spend about 40 minutes presenting content and reserve at least 5 minutes for Q&A. If you're comfortable, we encourage you to ask your audience to interact the whole time and ask questions throughout. If not, feel free to hold it to the end. We also have quick talks this year. This is a new format that we're trying out. These are 20-minute long presentations. The expectation is that this session will have elements of interactive discussion with participants. So this is it's not your formal stand at a podium with your slide deck kind of presentation. This is a less formal, more discussion-oriented 20-minute talk. We also have general sessions. We have blocked off about 60 minutes for the general session. We're asking that our presenters present for about 45 minutes and reserve about 15 minutes for Q&A for the general sessions. And then the workshops. Many people are presenting in workshops. Workshops are 3 hours long. So it's usually a team of folks who are presenting together in a workshop, but you should be planning to use the full 3 hours. The expectation is that these sessions, these workshops, will have elements of interactive discussion with participants. This can be in the form of prepared scenarios for small groups, breakout discussions with problem solving, opportunities for Q&A, etc. But the idea is, again, this is 3 hours and you should be kind of using time to share information and then having those breakout discussions and then coming back to you. Not a 3-hour-long sermon. As far as PowerPoint pointers, a good rule of thumb for most people is that you want to have about 1 slide for every 3 minutes of presentation. Please, 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 I know that you're probably all very seasoned presenters, but the best thing to do is to time yourself in advance. It's never fun when we get a slide deck that has about 50 slides in it for a 20-minute conversation. So again, we hope for about 1 slide for every 3 minutes. Please choose your font size wisely. In general, nothing below 18-point type is going to be readable to anyone except for the people in the first few rows. So we really encourage you to use 24-point and up so that people can actually read what's on your slides. Please ensure that your font color is easily readable. Light colored fonts such as yellow can be difficult to read from the back of the room, so obviously stick with darker colors. This was a big one, and I always have to test myself on this, but please try for fewer than 6 lines of text per slide. We suggest this because your attendees are there to listen to you, to engage with you. We don't want them to spend the whole presentation reading verbatim off your slides to understand what you are presenting. And finally, try to limit yourself to 1 complex graphic, pie chart, bar graph, whatever, per slide, because it's a lot to look at. As far as content, please include a title slide with speaker names, titles, companies, and the presentation title at the beginning of your presentation. Have a final slide with your contact information for follow-up. Provide as much concrete information as you can, connecting theory with best practice and your experiential knowledge. This is important. Please obtain permission to use material from outside sources prior to the presentation. If you're using stuff from outside resources, of course, cite material at the bottom of the slide in footnotes, or have like a reference page at the end listing all of your other resources. Oops. And one last thing I forgot to mention here is that really, again, I can't emphasize it enough, is that your audience expects that your session is for sharing unbiased scientific information, not for marketing. So please keep that in mind, that you, when you're presenting your material, that you should not be presenting in a way that promotes or advertises any commercial products within your session. Okay, so slide submission. I mentioned our 2 deadlines for slide submission that are coming up. What I'm showing right here is a screenshot of our Speaker Service Center, which again, if you have registered, you should be familiar with, but I'm gonna go ahead and kind of walk through what you're going to be doing. So if you see, again, we have attend, or about, attend, exhibit, present. Present is you guys. So I'm gonna click on present. That brings us to the Speaker Service Center. On the right, you'll see that this is a gated site. So you do have to log in to be able to do any of the things that I need you to do within here. Again, if you did your registration, you've already figured it out. If you haven't yet, one tip is, if you don't have your password, if you've forgotten it, or if this is your first time logging in, click forgot password. It'll send you a set password email to your email address. You can set the password to whatever it is that it'll be easy for you to remember, so that way you can log in, because this is going to be a central spot for you in terms of providing the materials, keeping yourself on track, that type of thing. Within this Speaker Service Center, I want to point out that you are able to complete your registration, book your hotel room. You're able to view your session time and location. So if you've forgotten when your session is going to be, it's right there for you in the Speaker Service Center. And also you're going to be able to upload your presentation slides in the Speaker Service Center. So when you're logged in, it's kind of like adding media really to anything. When you insert media, there's a space where you will upload your slide deck. It'll ask if you want to browse your computer to find the slides. You find the file and upload it in. So again, that happens within the Speaker Service Center. And also in the Speaker Service Center, you're able to access other resources. So this entire slide deck that I'm covering today will be found in there. The recording is in there, as well as other resources to keep you on track and make sure that you know where to be, when to be there, etc. Speaker Service Center. It's a great resource. Okay, let me put this down. Feel free, if you have questions, to put them into the Q&A. I'm probably going a little bit quick because I want to make sure that we end on time, but if I'm going over something too quickly, feel free to let me know. I'm more than happy to go back and talk further about any of the material I'm covering. Okay, before you arrive, as I mentioned before, timing is important. It's important to me to always start on time and end on time, and we have a pretty tightly planned schedule for the event. So we really encourage people to rehearse their presentation and time themselves in advance. Although you might be a very experienced public speaker and know your topic inside and out, it's really important that you get your timing down so that way we're able to adhere to the schedule that we have planned. I want to point out that we will have a timer and a hall host in your session with you. You'll be notified when 5 minutes remain in your session by the hall host to help keep you on track as far as timing. Another thing that I'd like to encourage you to do is to take a look at the full conference set schedule, to go to our interactive schedule builder and see what other topics that we have that might tie into yours. That's a wonderful way to connect with your fellow speakers, but also build upon other sessions. And also, please keep in mind that Excipient World is an international conference. Our audience is multicultural and has ties to countries around the world. So please be respectful of this diversity and refrain from making any value judgments about international issues, that type of thing. And of course, promote your presentation. You probably saw about a week ago, I sent out an email with promotional materials for you. The easiest thing that you can do to help promote your presentation is to hop on social media. You can follow our social media pages. So we're on LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook. Excipient World, just search for Excipient World and find us, and just like and share things to your network. In addition, we did provide you with graphics that you can use to do your own posts. You can put them in your email signature, just I'm presenting at Excipient World, just to help also get the word out. Because again, people will hear it from us, but it also makes a big impact when it's coming from you, the presenter. Okay, at the conference, you're going to check in at the registration counter to pick up your badge. Oops, sorry, before I get into that, we also ask that you visit the IPEC Americas booth to let the Excipient World staff know that you've arrived, and if you have any last minute questions, we'll be there to help you. So the IPEC Americas booth will be a good resource on site for you if you have last minute needs. Please report to the room assigned to your presentation 15 to 20 minutes before the session begins. We encourage you to visit the AV tech table to check in with our tech team to make sure that they have your most up-to-date slides queued up and ready to go. And again, they're there to support you so they can answer any questions that you might have about your presentation, about the technology that we have available. Oh, I already said that. Report 20 minutes before it begins. As I mentioned, hall hosts will be there to introduce your session. They will be available in the room during your presentation if you need assistance. So please keep an eye out for your hall host, because they, again, are there to support you during your presentation. So I mentioned AV, and I want to let you know that the following AV equipment is available for you at the event. You'll have a projector, a laptop, pointer, screen, wired and wireless microphone in every single session room. So you don't have to bring any of your own technology. We're there for you. And the AV tech will meet you at the beginning to ensure that help you to make sure that all the microphones are working and the equipment is set up and your slides are ready to go.